A1, A1, A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
What's good? What's good, A1 family? We are back at it once again. Hello to all fantasy football fans, as a matter of fact, because it's that time again. Welcome to A1 Forever Presents Dr. Moore, here to fill your fantasy prescriptions for your fantasy lineups. We have an informative breakdown and analysis for you guys this week to help you prepare your football lineups, as some of you are officially starting your playoffs or at least dangerously close to starting. Today, I am going to be giving you the top skill player for each position to help you this week. Best at each position plus an honorable mention. I'm going to say that one more time. Giving you the best player at each position plus honorable mentions. Week 14 fantasy football prescriptions starts right now. Let's start at quarterback, shall we? Jalen Hurts. Hurts has been a top fantasy quarterback over the last 4 weeks. He has 64 fantasy points in his last 2 games. I know this because I have him in one of my leagues. Hurts takes on the Giants this week, and you can bet your lunch money that Hurts will pick apart this 32nd overall defense. Honorable mentions: Justin Herbert versus the Miami Dolphins, Jared Goff versus the Minnesota Vikings. Next up, I'm going to move to running back, and Austin Eckler is my running back of choice. Eckler happens to be first in receiving yards and receptions for running backs. In Week 14, Eckler has the Dolphins, who gives up the 6th highest yards per reception. Eckler will be a great play this week, and my honorable mentions are Ramondre Stevenson versus the Arizona Cardinals and Christian McCaffrey versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to keep the good times rolling, and we're going to move on to wide receiver. Can you guess who the wide receiver is? Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Justin Jefferson. Jefferson has had an epic season this year. And he has been a top 5 wideout really in yards, receptions, touchdowns, and yards after the catch. This week, Jefferson gets round 2 against the Lions, who shut down JJ in week 3 now. This is a different Jefferson, though. Expect the 29th ranked defense to wide receivers to have their hands full with JJ this week, as, like I said, he has been very prolific. Honorable mentions, of course, Tyreek Hill versus the Chargers, CeeDee Lamb versus the Texans, Jamar Chase versus the Browns. The tight end room, the tight end is very subjective, and Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews are 1A and 1B. So you really need to see who you can slide in this week that's not named Andrews or Kelce. How about TJ Hockenson? Revenge game, maybe? Hockenson has been a top 10 fantasy tight end in 4 out of 5 games with Minnesota. The Lions have given up the 8th highest yards per reception and 9th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. So go off, TJ. Go off. Honorable mentions for tight ends: Dalton Schultz versus the Texans, and believe it or not, Jared Everett versus the Dolphins. Yes, sir. Flex option 101. Flex option 101. Derrick Henry. King Henry has struggled Yeah, he struggled some. Not breaking 100 yards since week 9 struggled. Luckily, here comes the Jaguars. Jacksonville is 23rd in rushing yards allowed per game. This matchup may be just what Henry needs to bounce back to production. Honorable flex mentions: Amon-Ra St. Brown versus the Vikings, Stephon Diggs versus the Jets. Yeah, I know about that guy named Sauce. I definitely do. But Diggs is a dog in his own right. So, he's a flex option. We're almost wrapped up here. We're going to move on to defense, and it's definitely the Cowboys versus the Texans this week. The Cowboys are the number 1 fantasy defense, and Houston will definitely have many problems to deal with on Sunday. A little Texas on Texas action: Dallas versus Houston. Honorable mentions: I would go with those Eagles defense against the Giants, and a sleeper 49ers defense against Tampa. Last position, kicker. And I'm going to go with Greg Legatron Zuerlein versus the Bills. He had a great week last week, and I can also see Buffalo keeping New York out of the end zone some. This will give Zuerlein some opportunities, and he has a 60-yard foot to boot. He's already broken records for the New York Jets already, and I expect him and his production to continue. I would like to thank all of my subscribers who continue to support me. I've lost a few subscribers, I know, because I've, pretty much came out and said how I feel about certain subjects and everything like that. And I have lost some subscribers, but I really appreciate the ones who were down for me, the ones who riding with me. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best to make all of you guys proud and keep you guys subscribing, sharing, liking. I need more subscribers, trying to run this up to monetize. Just improve on everything I'm trying to do here. So thank you guys to subscribe to A1 Forever. And if you haven't yet, please make sure that you subscribe. If you're really messing with me, if you really love this sports content that I'm continuously working on and continuously trying to get better on, and you support me, I really appreciate you guys, and peace and blessings to you all. But it's not easy. It's not easy doing this sports thing, but it's definitely worth it. I definitely enjoy it. I love doing all this in my spare time, free time that I possibly can make, and I just can't wait until this is all that I'm doing. Until next time, this has been Dr. Moore, Fantasy Football Prescriptions for your fantasy lineup. Peace and blessings to you. And why settle for less when you can have more with a vision?
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler